program like this, but it...
I don't like that term, legal fraud. That reminds me what the chatter called me out for in YouTube chat, where it's like, well, hold on, rent seeking and fraud are two different things. Legal fraud is a bit of a dumb term because it implies that it's just a totally different thing. Thinking that a company is not charging fairly for a thing is way different than somebody intentionally, with a criminal state of mind, misstating what they're doing to the government to collect funds that they have no business collecting.
It's just a state of York that. But the problem I have with this story is that it's bringing all these people out of the woodwork that only want to talk about this type of fraud.
Because it's Somalians.
It's Tim Walz and Somalis. I can just tell. I can see the difference in how they act when it's Tim Walz and Somalis. I'll talk about it anytime. But listen, if you go back to my videos, even during the, actually, especially during the...
But don't, and he's kind of making this point, don't ever fall into the fucking cuck, the libcuck, progressive cuck trap of not wanting to talk about a thing just because it's like a group of colored people or whatever that are impacted, or just because it's women, or just because it's some other minority group. Don't fall into that. Bad shit is bad shit. Like I said, the guy's video reeked of like Project Veritas-esque. I say that by like zipping through it. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was a good video. So I didn't dig into it. But I'm not going to sit here and, you know, be like, I don't think anything bad happened, and I think all of it is a lie, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, there's a lot of racist people are probably going to jump on this, but if it's true, it's, you know, come out against it. It's not good. Don't defend dumb shit just because, you know, black people are doing it or whatever.
I talked a lot about PPP fraud, the Paycheck Protection Program. This was so much bigger than this little program in Minnesota.
The PPP stuff was, I would have to look into what he means when he says fraud there, because I don't know what, my understanding for the PPP loans was if you got these loans, you had to maintain the same, employee base. That's not a word I'm looking for. Your employees. You had to maintain all your employees. You had to, you couldn't fire, you couldn't basically let off a bunch of people because it was to maintain your payroll basically. So so if you started also buying cars or whatever after you got your PPP loans, like, I mean, as long as you didn't fire anybody, I don't know if that matters or not. No?
And a guy in Texas who faked PPP loans to get a Lamborghini and a Rolex. You can find a guy in Florida.
Well, when he's saying faked, though, if you're faking payroll and sending them to the government, well, then you have a problem for sure. Oh, actually, that's probably what happened. Yeah, because I think I got 20K of PPP money. And I feel like they didn't check your payroll too hard. Obviously, I didn't lie on my shit because my stuff gets reported all the time, so I'm not going to get fucking felony fucked on anything related to taxes. But if you're inventing employees saying you're hiring more people than you are, then that would obviously be fraudulent. That's not good. Yeah.
And again, you know, I saw people saying this thing in Minnesota is the biggest fraud in American history, and it's like maybe at the max. I'm taking the most.
What was the highest of dollar amount that this was just a local Minnesota thing? Was it for the whole state? Or is it just some city? Because it's a community. Was it even in the scale of billions? When you get like, when people start saying words like childcare or healthcare, you can the numbers start to get really big really fast. So it could have been. But I'm curious what the overall amount of fraud that they're alleging or believe. Is it 1 billion?
Fuck Tim Walz number. Because Tim Walz says like under $1 billion. And the highest estimate I've seen is like 8 billion. 8 billion is a lot of money.
Okay, 8 billion is a lot of money.
Fraud is $100 billion. Even on Fox News, they'll say that. And the amount of fraud over COVID was so big that our Justice Department ran.
One thing that's very annoying, though, and I'm speaking in generalities, I don't know if this is true for this, is that like if a program is worth like $10 billion and there's some fraud there, people will say like up to $10 billion of fraud in the program. It's like, well, hold on. Is the whole thing fraudulent? Are we saying every single thing? So I'm curious. But I'm sure we'll get as people start to estimate. You should watch the original expose. I feel like it's the thing I'm going to have to use my whole brain on. Link it to me if you want, and maybe I'll...
Out of money trying to prosecute it and had to ask for more, which probably is a fraud on its own. I would like us as a country to seriously like hold everyone's feet to the fire on if we're going to give you our tax dollars, it has to be spent appropriately. I don't want it to just be a political thing. I don't want it to be, well, okay, it's all good except for the Somalis and Tim Walz. I mean, look, on a grander scale, 47% of our discretionary budget in America, actually I think it's gone over 50% now with Trump's new bill. So over half of our discretionary spending is on defense, is on the military. It's actually not even called defense anymore. And the fucking Pentagon hasn't passed an audit in years.
Not this talking point.
It's just telling us they'll likely fail audits through 2028. I'm not passing an audit this year, and I probably won't for the next 3 years either. There's just a massive amount of fraud at all these different levels.
That's not a
Fraud is
good
not even the best
comparison
word.
at
It's
all.
not
But
fraud like Somalis setting up a fake kindergarten or whatever. It's fraud like nobody is checking what they're charging. It's a defense company just giving you $30,000 for a waste mask.
that is absolutely not true. Government contract. Explain real quick. Just apparently the whole government or the whole executive branch or whatever started a new form of like auditing or a new form of like keeping track of things, and it was expected that the Pentagon, the Department of Defense, wouldn't be able to have their systems updated to get to this new like accounting thing for until at least I think 2028. Was when they were expected to be compliant with like the new systems or whatever that they were putting in place for budget auditing. And but now that they've got that system that they're on the way to, everybody like phrases this as though it's a black hole. We don't know where any of the money is.
And we have way too much
up. And the problem, especially on the Republican side, Democrats do this sometimes too, but it's especially rampant on the Republican side, such that an entire political party should be deconstructed and a new one should be built at this point, is they have no solutions for anything. They're not trying to solve any problems ever. Every single fucking thing has become a playground for political ownership. That's it. And that's why you have Candace Owens and Fuentes and all these other people running amok now in the Conservative Party because they realize, oh shit, we don't have any fucking values. We don't have any fucking things that we believe in. There are no principles. We don't know how to do anything. The Trump doesn't know how to govern. We're not doing anything with the Congress because we don't know how to use them. Fucking Stephen Miller is running everything behind the scenes. Trump is signing executive orders, pardoning people he doesn't know about, like, because they don't know how to do anything because everything has been destructive with them. They've never tried to, like, this is perfectly encapsulated with the immigration issue under Biden at the end of his last term, where it was like, oh, well, here's a bill. Can we solve it? Republicans like, no, we're going to go ahead and keep that issue open for us to run on. And it's like, okay, so you're literally trying to make the country worse, really bad, according to you, because this is like the number one problem, according to you, so you can win an election? What the fuck?
And I just think it's a bigger problem, and I don't want it to see replaced. I mean, again, Elon Musk has been tweeted like 30 times today about this Tim Walz thing. And, you know, for the most part, a good number of them, I agree with him.
I don't know how to make somebody understand. Like, you should never agree with people who are epistemically distant from you, except in very rare occasions. I guarantee you that we could go through a bunch of Hitler's writings and speeches and find a ton of stuff that we could agree with, but like, I'm a little reluctant to cite all of these Hitler points that I agree with. It's just not a good why. Elon Musk is terminally fucking retarded. You never have to hand it to Elon Musk. Okay.
I look at this reporting and I'm like, dude, this sucks. I don't like this scam. But it's just like, Elon, bro, you're acting like you didn't have the power to make a significant impact here. And then when you got it, you primarily didn't
nothing.
cut anything related to defense. You didn't cut anything related to Social Security. You didn't cut anything related to Medicare. And you primarily just fired federal employees. And statistically picked things that donated more to Democrats than Republicans and cut them as more of like a fuck you.
Yeah,
and it was all a minor rounding error because at the end of the day, once you step down in May, the U.S. had spent $166 billion more than last year. So there was no cuts. You know what I'm saying? I guess I'm just trying to explain. I think there's people that'll click on this video that are really riled up about this Minnesota thing. And I am with you. Honestly, I am. I just want you to keep that energy, man. I want us to fucking take everyone down. If the end goal of this is that we lock up some Somalis and Tim Walz steps down, the change is not big enough. And people like Trump and Elon that have promised this stuff and make no changes, it's not big enough for me. So look, that's the takeaway. This fraud story probably will get some pretty big coverage because, to be honest, it's just a straight up bad look for someone that the right really hates, which is Tim Walz. And I would love...
And the immigrant scapegoating. Woo!
I would love to see material change. I guess my big takeaway is we have the money. We are the richest country on earth, man. We have the money, if it was used effectively, to do incredible things. We don't need more money, really. What we need is more effective use of it. And things like this, I think fraud is just the tip of the iceberg. I think the legal fraud is the bigger thing, but I would like to see a change. And I'm trying with this content, with this message, to get people from different political backgrounds to agree that regardless of the group or the politician or where you voted in the election, what the city is, city or rural, we have to hold these people accountable collectively or nothing's going to change. We'll just get a different rotating cast. All right. It's late here. I'm going to bed. I'd love to talk about this more. Thanks for the comments.
Why would you want to rotate your cast? Isn't your arm already fucked or whatever if you have one on? That was kind of retarded at the end.
What do you guys think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
I don't think anybody is enabling fraud to happen.
Hold Governor Walz accountable for this.
What was this money spent on? 1.26 million. What was that money spent on? There aren't any kids.
Answer the question. Are there children? There's no children inside this building. Potentially the largest fraud scandal in U.S. history is taking place
US
in Minnesota,
history?
as literally billions of dollars have been funneled through Somali-ran fraudulent businesses. So much fraud, it could actually almost replace the entire GDP of Somalia. These fraudsters have worked hand in hand with the Minnesota government as they enabled billions of dollars to be given to fraudulent businesses underneath welfare purposes. Some of this money eventually landed in the hands of terrorist groups in Somalia like the Al-Shabaab, and others enriched themselves all at the US taxpayers' expense. And in this video we will break down all of the fraud from start to finish.
Discuss video games and argue about video games with people? Never. Never. I don't go on other streams and I don't go and try to argue why it's okay to have big boob girls in video games. Why would I do that? Even though I feel like every single fact is on my side. It's because I just don't like debating. It's that simple. So you can go and spin it and then explain it and do whatever you want to do. It's not going to change anything. It's not going to matter. It's always going to be the same, and you're going to be sit there crying, and I'm going to be sitting there reacting, and there's going to be another YouTube video. When was the last Destiny video? Asmongold Destiny. 1.6 million views. Thank you, Destiny. Please come again. I'll be waiting. I'll be waiting. And so you're saying that you're comfortable talking about Destiny at a distance, but you aren't comfortable talking to him directly? Sounds like a dodge to me. Well, it is a dodge. I have no interest in talking to people directly and fighting with them and debating with them in real time. I have no interest in doing that in any context and in any fashion, under any subject, for any reason. Whether it's World of Warcraft, politics, nutrition, religion, or hairstyles. I just have no interest in doing that for any reason. Period. So you can go and explain it and rationalize it and say, oh, well, this is the reason, that's the reason. I have no reason to do it. Why would I do it? I don't like doing it. So yeah, it's that simple. Anyway, no one's obliged to do anything. Yeah, I don't want to do it. So why would I do it? It's content, why not? Because I don't like it. And the other reason is that I feel like there's 50 other ways of doing content. Why would I do the one way I don't like? So anyway, let me go back. I'll look at a few more of these posts too. You prefer turn-based? Yeah, I like to think about what I'm going to say, and I like to plan it out, and then, really think about, okay, well, there's this point, and that point, and this other thing, and, I like to just think things out. I'm not a fast thinker. I'm not a quick thinker. If you want me to be honest, I'm really not. And so why would I play into something that's not my strength? Why would I do that? There's no reason for me to do that. It's like wanting to fight a shark on land. Why would I want to go on the land if I'm a shark? So yeah, we know. Yeah, I mean, it's the same as so I saw there was an LSF video. Let me see if I can find this. I'm not going to watch it right now, but we will watch it. And it is of, he's probably so mad. He's probably so mad because then this guy, you just got beat by an anime girl. Remember you turned off your stream whenever Iron Mouse was singing? And now you have this going on, huh? And so where is it? Let me see if I can find it. No, that's not it either. Where is it here? Where did it go? Uh-oh. Yes, Manly Games. So we will watch this. This has 13,000 likes. And it's me playing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I will watch this. I bet it'll be very funny. I genuinely mean this. I did not watch it. I have not seen it. So, yeah. But I remember playing the game. And I know probably... I can almost guarantee you the end of the video will be with the dogs, right? Because that was whenever I stopped filtered. Yeah, I really... I thought I was going to like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 a lot more, but... in terms of it being a stream game, it just didn't really fit with the way I stream, and I just wasn't really for it. I might play it and beat it off stream, but like playing it on stream just really wasn't for me, if you want me to be honest, right? And there's some games that make it better for stream content, other games that don't. And that's generally the way I feel about it. So, yeah, it's definitely an off-stream game. Yeah, no, I mean, what'd I say? What'd I say? Relax, guys. Come on. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is gay? Yeah, it's too hard and slow paced for streaming? Yeah, it's too hard. I don't like playing really hard, punishing, slow paced games for streams. I just don't. So, you know, people get mad about it, but that's the way it is. There are some games that I like enjoying by myself. And I know it might sound crazy, but that's actually the way I look at it. And it's what I do with everything. Hades 2, yeah. And Souls-like, yeah, I play Souls-like games, but there's a point where Souls-like games become too difficult and too challenging for me to enjoy doing them. Like, for me, I don't really play video games for challenge. I don't really. I play them for entertainment and to relax. I have a lot of challenge and frustrations in my real life, and so whenever I sit down to play a video game, I don't really want to be, like, massively challenged. I don't want to do something, like, 50 times in order to get it right. It's just too many times. Like, I just rather do something that I can just turn my brain off and basically just chill out and play a game. Like, that's really about it. And I'm not locked in. I'm almost never locked in. I am locked in for about 5 minutes a day. And that's it. Then I'm right back to being AFK. And most people focus on the Somali part because scamming is also part of the culture in their own country. I don't give a shit if it is or not. Like, they do whatever the fuck they want over there. I just don't want it here. So yeah, like when you did the shield build for Elden Ring, easy mode, absolutely. Like, I'm a good planner in that way, but otherwise, I don't like dealing with it at all. So yeah, TFT. Well, I'm not even that good at TFT because I don't have that much time to think. So yeah. And have you tried Donkey Kong Bonanza? I have not. Was WoW rating not challenging? Was WoW rating not challenging? So it was sometimes, but I mean, not really. Number one, you literally have a thing. It says move left, jump, move out, move in, you know, go to star. And then you go over there. It literally tells you how to play. You're playing Simon Says, basically. So Mythic's challenging? I mean, maybe it is. I think what really happened is that in like 2019, 2020, like with OTK and like all my stream and then my mom's health stuff, it really kind of fried my brain. And ever since then, I've really never been able to like mentally recover from that. And that might sound crazy for me to say, but like the amount of stress and trauma and like just annoying things I had to deal with every day, I never really was able. I can't think clearly as much after that. I really couldn't. And like it just totally like fucking microwaved my brain. It did. It microwaved my total fucking brain. Yeah, it gave me actual fucking brain damage. I got burned out. Yeah, kind of. And so yeah, I've never been able to think the same since then. I really haven't. And I don't know really what happened. I think it's gotten worse, too, in some regards. Most regards, it's gotten better. But overall, I think that there has been a backslide. So, yeah, it also sucked because WoW was crap a long time ago, too. Well, also, like, I mean, when Mythic Rating got too hard, I quit Mythic Rating. Like, I don't know why, but, like, yeah, I don't enjoy challenging myself. I just don't. I don't enjoy challenging myself. What I enjoy doing is whatever the fuck I want at the time that I feel like doing it. And anything besides that is not enjoyable to me. I just like doing and relaxing and living my life. That's it. That's all I want to do. I just want to live my life, and I just want to exist. I want to exist in peace and live my life. And everybody else wants to take me out of that peace and put, you know, like a piece of them inside of my peace. It's not for me, man. It's not for me. It used to be for me, but it's not for me anymore. And it's very weird, honestly. I'm going to be real. It's very weird that I feel this way. Because as a kid, I used to be so aggressive and so competitive. And I used to care so much about this kind of stuff. And then whenever I started to get older, and like I always cared about being number one. I wanted to be locked in and playing these games and being super competitive. And then I just kind of, I turned 30. I turned 30 and that just disappeared. It just went away. I don't have any like that, all of that for me just totally went away. Like I don't give a shit at all now. Now obviously if I'm playing a game and I'm not winning, I'll be frustrated in the moment. But like afterwards I'm like, okay, well whatever, I'll just go do something else, right? Is 2026 the return of the gamer Asmon? Well, we'll see what happens. How about that? And also, like, yes, I do think that I'll probably do more games, but I'm not really sure exactly how much. But they have to be simple one-button games, okay? If you guys have this idea of me playing some complex RPG that's like a 100-hour RPG, it's just not going to happen if it's difficult. Now, if it's really easy, I might do it, but I am not going to be playing any hard games. Not for me, never again. And I will try to play a game and, like, you know, see how it is. But other than that, I have no interest in it. Play Red Dead Redemption 2. Yeah, I've seen Emmy was playing that. It looked like a decent game. Maybe I'd play something like that. It'd be nice. But otherwise, like, it was actually really sad is that for the first time ever, I have a friend, Zach, and, like, you know, a lot of, like, his IRL friends, like, they all play WoW together. And he was saying, like, well, I'm still playing WoW with, like, you know, all the guys. And for the first time in my life recently, this was, like, maybe a year ago, I was like, you know what? Maybe I should just come back to play WoW and just play with my friends. Not worry about, like, getting a high ranking, not try to get Gladiator, not try to get the best Mythic rating parses or anything like that. I just go back and, like, maybe just do, like, Mythic Plus with some of the boys, right? And, like, if we don't clear it in time, it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go to Taco Bell and then maybe watch a TV show. That's just, it's just the way it is, right? I'll be okay, I'll survive, right? It'll be okay. That's the way I feel, right? And so, yeah, you'll get it again. Maybe, maybe not. But anyway, no, this new year, as I said, I've thought about, like, what are my resolutions for this new year? I don't do New Year's resolutions, but I do want to, you know, to a certain degree, be slightly more efficient and proficient with what I do, right? And let me see if I can show you guys. I took some pictures. So I cleaned up. I spent 3 hours. 3 fucking hours cleaning my room. And I will show you guys right here. Can I do all 4 of them? No, I can't. Okay. Well, let me just do, I'll do all of these real quick, okay? And you guys will see what this looks like now. And it is a totally different universe, totally different world, okay? What? I did. Well, the reason why I didn't before, it was like kind of a dumb reason, but let me go and see if I can pull this up and show you guys. Okay, here we go. So, and I know some people might say, there's no way you think this is clean. But number 1, I do. And number 2, you should have seen it the way it was before. So, there's number 1 right there. And some of this is, I think, dried blood or puke. I don't really know which one, but it's a stain. It's not coming out, okay? That's basically, that's 1. And then here's number 2. Okay, get ready for it. Number 2 looks a lot better. There it is. There's number 2. And we have number 3 also. This is the battle station right here. Remember that word? Remember that word from back in the day? There it is. Right there. There we go. Cleaned up everything. And so, clean the entire fucking room. And let me go, oh, there's one more. And I guess actually for you guys, you probably don't know, you don't realize how bad it was. Let me go and send the ones that are from yesterday. Well, why can't I move? Collection? Why is it not moving? Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. So give me 1 second. I'm going to show you guys what it looked like before today. Okay. Because it is absolutely fucking deranged. It was so bad. Like, honestly, I took out 3 entire, like, big black garbage bags out of the room.
Farewell.
Okay. All right, so now you guys are going to get a better idea what it used to look like, okay? This is the way it was. And let me see. Can I pull up the other one? Yeah. There we go. There's a before and after. The entire thing is cleaned up. Everything is gone. Looks bad still? No, it doesn't. It looks great. It's just that the carpet is dirty. Okay, here is the main one. All right. Here we go. There it is. That's how bad it was.
How are you?
Wow. Yes. And so it went from that to this. It was a fucking mess.
Be good.
You guys have no idea how bad this was. And so I have one more. I have one more photo. Let me see. Okay, yeah, this is an even better. Okay. Oh my God. All right. All right, guys. Here it is. Yep. That's right.
From going to the fraudulent businesses and confronting the people who are making millions of dollars from the government. And we will also be confronting the incompetent government leaders who let this fraud happen. And to make this happen, I met up with a man who's been doing his own investigation for years now, as he has seen the fraud firsthand. His name is David. Let's get into this and be prepared to be shocked. How deep is this fraud here inside of Minnesota?
It is far worse than anybody can imagine. You heard it's 7 to 10 billion and maybe more, and now the numbers have been revised and put out there publicly that they think it's more like 8 billion. How I got involved is that where my office is here in Minneapolis, I'm sort of in the heart of all of this fraud, and I would see these child care centers. I said, well, there aren't any kids there. It's the middle of the day, and all I see are a couple of guys standing out front smoking. And then I'd go by another daycare and I'd see the same thing. I said, well, where do these kids play? And so I started to go online and look, and I said, this place is licensed for 80 children. They had 0 children. Every time I went by there, they never had a single child there.
What?
Then I started to see all these transportation companies going around, and it was always a Somali driver. And I said, well, that's great. They're out there transportation, contributing, but they never had a passenger, never, ever once. And I said, well, what is all this transportation? What are they doing? So then I found out that in Minnesota, they have something called non-emergency medical transportation. So this is going to the dentist's office, therapy, whatever it might be.
Non-emergency medical transportation. Motherfucker, that's called Uber. Why do you need a whole separate service for that? Am I retarded? What? I don't get it. What?
And I said, well, how many of these companies are there? And the research came back that there are 1,020 of them.
Disabled people? Disabled people can't take Uber?
And more than 800.
Oh, actually, never mind. Especially if it's for older people or disabled people, there are like special vehicles that have like the lifts for wheelchairs, or it could be that the driver has some special training with dealing with people that could have medical issues or whatever. So actually, that actually could be a thing. Maybe. Maybe.
Of them are Somali owned. Nobody from the state of Minnesota ever cross-checks to see if any rides were ever actually provided. All they did was write the check.
So right here we have all this paperwork. And how are you getting all this information about the fraud?
A lot of it is through my own research, and then I have some contacts at the Capitol going back many, many years. And so the data that I'm getting is 100% accurate, coming directly from research done by people.
I also like retard moments to have to say things that are so obvious. What this guy is asking for is more government regulation as well, right? Not all regulation is bad. Not all auditing is bad. Okay, sometimes it's okay to have investigators or Office of Inspector Generals to make sure that stuff isn't being abused or misappropriated, right? Like that's okay. It's not always bad.
the state capitol.
All this paperwork right here, what are we looking at?
The areas of
Yeah, but the issue is half these guys just want to get rid of all the money entirely. So they actually don't want regulation. They just want to get rid of it all.
fraud that I have numbers for are mostly related to childcare. This is massive fraud that is beyond anyone's imagination, the scope. And so, for example, there's a childcare not far from here in Minneapolis that has two childcares listed at the same address.
Okay.
And together, they're licensed supposedly for 120 children.
Damn.
I have never seen a single child there ever, and I've been by that place at least 100 times.
Today, I'm going to play devil's advocate. While Battlefield 6 was the best-selling game of 2025, and they finally managed to beat Call of Duty in a sales war, I feel like the long-term success of Battlefield 6 is currently not guaranteed. Personally, I'm still having a ton of fun playing the game, and Steam player numbers are pretty good for a Battlefield game compared to what we had in the past, but they have dropped off a cliff, losing roughly 80% of the launch player base on Steam. Yes, the game is available on other PC platforms too and console, but this signifies a trend. It's obvious that at the moment the game isn't really growing, it's not retaining players, and this will be very concerning for EA. This is pretty typical for Battlefield games and many others driven by live service, but that drop off in player count is real, cannot be ignored, and ultimately I feel like they could be doing much better with a few changes, and in my opinion, if they continue down their current trajectory, they're squandering big opportunities for this game and franchise. As a fan, I would love to see the game thrive in the future. So here's where I think they've gone wrong and what they could improve going forward in 2026, keeping it concise and blunt. Here we go. Live service. The live service so far since launch.
I'm tired of pretending that we don't hate all the immigrants in this country. Like, wow. What?
This doesn't work anymore.
Today, I'm going to play devil's. Today, I'm going to play.
I'm tired of pretending me and children.
In 2014, OnePlus launched a phone that shouldn't have been possible. Top-tier specs, clean software for just $299. It wasn't just a deal, it was a movement. But today, OnePlus is barely a player. Fans are furious and the company's collapsing in its most important market. This is the wild story of how OnePlus built a cult and then destroyed it. Pete Lau walked out of Oppo in 2013 with a clear view of how big Chinese phone brands operate. He'd seen the layers of marketing, carrier deals, and retail markups. Carl Pei joined him with a different skill set: community, forums, and online hype. Together, they agreed on one simple plan: build a phone that feels like a flagship, but don't charge flagship money. A flagship is essentially tech speak for the best of the best. This meant a top Snapdragon processor, plenty of RAM, a sharp display, decent cameras, and premium build quality. But you'd usually pay $600, $700, sometimes $800 or more. Pete and Carl looked at that and thought, hey, there's a gap. If they could deliver 80 to 90% of that experience for half the price, the tech-savvy crowd would notice fast. So in 2014, they launched the OnePlus One. On paper, it looked insane for the price. Snapdragon 801, 3GB of RAM, a 1080p display, a 13-megapixel camera, and a huge battery. But most importantly, the base model only cost $299, and the higher storage option cost $349. This was unbelievable. But the price wasn't all that was lightweight. The OnePlus One shipped with Cyanogen OS, which gave it a near-stock Android look with extra power user features. Later, they created their own Oxygen OS, built around a simple promise: keep it light and essential. No heavy bloat, no duplicate apps for everything. For Android fans who hated cluttered interfaces, this felt like a breath of fresh air. Never settle was the slogan, and they called the phone a flagship killer. Obviously, they were undercutting a lot of big-name flagships by hundreds of dollars while offering similar performance. So, how'd they do it? They kept the whole business lean. No big retail partners, no fancy physical stores, no heavy carrier subsidies. Sales were almost entirely online, mainly through their own website. That cut channel costs and let them pour value into the device itself. But one part of their business where other brands spent millions was virtually zero. If you don't pay retailers and carriers to push your phone in-store, you need people to find you on their own. Getting people to notice is one thing. Getting them to buy and stay is another. But OnePlus had virtually no marketing budget. Apple and Samsung were spending $350 million advertising their phones each. So Pete and Carl leaned into guerrilla marketing. They relied on forums, Reddit, YouTube reviews, and tech blogs to spread the word. And moving forward, software became a huge part of the pitch. The message was clear. You're getting almost everything those phones offer for far less. But you could only go so far with these forms. So Pete and Carl added something else to the mix: scarcity. You couldn't just buy a OnePlus One whenever you wanted. You needed an invite from an existing owner or from a promotion. So how would this help? If anything, it sounded annoying. Well, technically it was, but it worked. If something is limited either due to supply or for a limited time, people feel a more urgent drive to buy it. Plus, it gave OnePlus owners the feeling that they were in a special club. You were part of a small group that got it before everyone else. They pushed this idea further with the Smash the Past campaign. 100 people got the chance to buy the phone for $1 if they filmed themselves destroying their old device. The stunt was messy and controversial, but it got coverage everywhere. As demand began to build like rising water behind a dam, OnePlus slowly relaxed the gates. More invites, then specific open sale days, then eventually full availability. The plan by the end of 2014 was to sell about 50,000 units, but they had sold about 1 million units of the OnePlus One. Their biggest markets became East Asia, Europe, and the US, exactly the regions where online communities and tech media had the loudest voice. OnePlus felt like a movement. People weren't just buying a phone or saving money, they were buying into an idea. Strong specs, fair prices, clean software, and founders who showed up on forums and answered questions, like the anti-iPhone. Choosing OnePlus over Samsung or Apple felt like taking a stand. Not to mention, the low price and good specs eventually helped OnePlus claim a giant part of the Android segment in India. For a while, the never settle promise felt completely real. Everything was going great, but slowly, the cracks in the prestigious brand started to appear. At first, everything clicked. The formula kept working. OnePlus released the 2, the 3, the 5, and the 6. Specs climbed, designs got more premium, and the charging speeds jumped ahead of most rivals. Prices bumped up a little each time, but the value story still made sense. Oxygen OS was still fast, clean, and the phone still felt like a bargain next to Samsung and Apple. Carl Pei said, "We want to be careful that we aren't adding features simply for the sake of differentiation. We've implemented some important features thus far, but they are subtle and meaningful. That's our philosophy behind Oxygen OS. Keep it light and essential." For a lot of people, that was the real reason they picked OnePlus over a Xiaomi or a Vivo. Then came 2020, and with it, the OnePlus 8 Pro. As expected, it was exactly what fans expected from a never-settled device. Top-tier Snapdragon chip, high refresh OLED display, fast charging, wireless charging, and finally, a proper water resistance rating. It hung with the best phones of the year in almost every spec sheet comparison, but the price was a surprise to everyone. In the UK, the 8 Pro launched at £799, with a higher-end model at £899. In the US, it started at $899, going up to $999. These were not half the price of a Galaxy numbers anymore. These were full flagship prices. Reviewers labeled it a Samsung killer, but you are now paying Samsung money, and when people paid Samsung money, they expect Samsung level polish. The tiny quirks that were forgivable on a $400 flagship killer suddenly looked a lot more serious on a $900 flagship. At the same time, OnePlus tried to have it both ways. In July 2020, they launched the OnePlus Nord. This was a mid-range device starting around £379, aimed at people who cared about value more than having the latest specs. But wasn't that the original idea? On the surface, it sounded fine. Keep a cheaper line while the main series moves up market. But there was a major problem with that. For years, OnePlus had one clean story: high-end experience at a lower price. But now, were they a full-price flagship brand, a mid-range value brand? Both? The fans could feel the confusion right away, and the story got even stranger. Carl Pei was the public face of the brand, but in late 2020, he quietly left the company and later started another phone brand. And he wasn't alone either. Pete Lau's role changed too, yet his was a bit more complicated. He became Chief Product Officer at Oppo while still overseeing OnePlus. So he went back to his previous job? Well, sort of. BBK Electronics, a giant Chinese conglomerate, owns Vivo as well as Oppo and OnePlus. Even though they seemed independent, and the OnePlus rep even told reporters OnePlus and Oppo are two completely independent companies, they shared some common investors. Now, they were a proper subsidiary brand of BBK. To business leaders, this looked efficient. Combine leadership, share resources. To fans, it looked like OnePlus was getting pulled deeper into Oppo's orbit. In early 2021, that suspicion turned into a reality. OnePlus and Oppo merged their hardware R&D teams. A few months later, OnePlus announced that Oxygen OS and Oppo's Color OS would share a common codebase. By September, they were talking about a single unified OS that would power future flagships. To fans, this was a warning siren. People chose OnePlus over Oppo partly because of Oxygen OS. Color OS had a reputation for being busy, full of features, and visually louder, not at all the OnePlus vibe. So when fans heard unified OS, they didn't think improvement. Oxygen OS updates began to look and feel different. Menus shifted, icons and animations leaned more towards Color OS, extra options, more visual flair, and the new settings crowded into places that used to be simple. For a new buyer coming from another Android brand, it might have seemed fine. For long OnePlus users, it felt like their clean OS was being slowly swapped out, and the rollout was loaded with problems. Users reported bugs after updates, odd camera behavior, battery drain, and small glitches in day-to-day use. None of this was unique to OnePlus, but it went against one of their biggest promises: fast and smooth. What was the point of buying OnePlus instead of Oppo or any other BBK brand? The higher prices and the less distinct software made the old flagship killer identity feel hollow. Fans were upset. OnePlus tried to calm things down. Pete Lau and other executives said the unified system would keep a clean and a lightweight feel, and explicitly promised no ads and no heavy pre-installs. But fans weren't convinced. They didn't want to see their favorite enthusiast brand drift towards the same behavior as everyone else. By early 2022, the backlash was loud enough that OnePlus quietly backed off the unified OS branding. They said global phones would stick with the Oxygen OS name even if there was shared code underneath. The turning point was complete. Prices were now full flagship. The mid-range Nord line muddied the brand's focus. The co-founder who built the community was gone. Yet, as bad as things had gotten for OnePlus, they were about to get much worse. Over the past 8 years, we've posted 1,100 videos. Yet, we still haven't crossed 1 million subscribers. We are close though, and I believe 2026 there. But then came the chain reaction. It started with something called the green line scandal. Many users opened their phones and saw a prominent vertical green line on their screens after a software update or just after regular use. It was almost impossible to get rid of this thing. This wasn't just in India, but this set off dominoes that would ruin OnePlus' stronghold. OnePlus offered a lifetime display warranty for affected devices. Sounded good, but it actually made things worse for the retailers in India. In India, a lot of phone buying was still offline in physical stores. When a customer came back angry, the retailer ended up spending staff time at troubleshooting and handling exchange or warranty paperwork. Here, warranty claims were slow, margins were already thin, and retailers were stuck doing damage control. So, the South Indian Organized Retailers Association threatened to stop selling OnePlus from May 1st, 2024, specifically citing narrow margins and delays in claim processing, because it was making retail partners' lives harder. Retailers were very annoyed at OnePlus. Selling these phones just brought more problems and often losses. so they just stopped pushing them and pushed competitors instead. Google began to move into India and went hard. The Pixel began to take off. OnePlus watched their market share nosedive in India, of Android phones from 21% in 2023 to just 6% in 2024 for OnePlus in India. Overall phone share in India dropped to just 3.9% in 2024 from 6.1% in 2023. Keep in mind, India was about 1/3 of their entire market. Just losing 1% in India was catastrophic for OnePlus. But there was still a chance to turn things around. OnePlus had the Model 13T coming. Compact design, advanced battery tech, and the kind of specs that tech forums were genuinely excited about. For a moment, it looked like OnePlus might remember what made them special in the first place. Then they announced where it would actually be sold. Just China and a model for India. No US launch, no Europe. The two markets that built OnePlus were being told, "You're not a priority." This was insulting. Not everyone in the US or Europe wants an iPhone. There's a massive audience hungry for strong Android phones at fair prices. At the end of the day, never settle only works when you're actually offering something different. OnePlus earned its cult following by being the obvious choice for a specific buyer. Flagship performance, clean software, fair pricing, without locking into Apple or Samsung's ecosystem. That promise felt real when the OnePlus One cost $299, when Oxygen OS was genuinely distinct, and when Pete and Carl were answering questions in forums. But slowly over time, they pushed their phones towards iPhones and Galaxies. They started charging flagship prices, blurred Oxygen OS into Color OS, modeled their brand, and burned trust in India, their biggest market. OnePlus looked like just another BBK brand, so customers treated them exactly that way. They left. Right now, they're stuck in the middle, and that's where brands go to die. But there's still one question. Where did Carl Pei go? Well, after he left OnePlus, he started Nothing, another phone brand. And somehow, the story of Nothing is even more wild than OnePlus. Check out this video to learn more. But until then, I'm Harley, and I'll see you guys.
These Somalians, these groups are setting up these.
Damn, that guy trusts me a lot.
Getting money from the government, but there's no kids.
No kids. Never had any of them. They're all fraught with violations, and even though they have these violations, they're still in operation and they're still getting money. And it's millions of dollars for every one of them every year.
And who's getting the money? And where are they getting the money from?
So we have a thing called CCAP. It's a blend of federal and state money. The bottom line is it's taxpayer money, so it's state money and it's federal money. And the problem is the people of the state of Minnesota are the ones writing the checks. This is kind of the maddening thing is you have daycare, so you have adult daycare, and then you have child care, and then you have health care. And a lot of these same names keep coming up on all of these different types of businesses. And then, of course, we have the transportation, and a lot of those same names appear, a lot of the same addresses. There's one building that has 14 Somali healthcare companies at the same address. There's another building in St. Paul that has 22 Somali healthcare businesses at the same address.
And the government knows about it.
The government knows they're writing the checks. Yeah, Democrats over there writing the checks. What has happened?
Also, I know nobody gives a fuck about anything real anymore, and this whole fucking country deserves to collapse, and I'm here to find another country to live in because we all fucking deserve each other. Not you, though. You guys are special. There is a huge leap from there are people here that are fraudulently abusing funds versus these people know that they're distributing funds that are being fraudulently abused. Now, maybe this video will go on to demonstrate that. This guy hasn't given any proof of that yet. Just saying that somebody's giving money to somebody who's defrauding them is not saying that the person knows they're being defrauded. Now again, maybe we'll establish that in the video, but we'll see.
Is that the Somali community is a very closed community. They will not speak to anyone outside the community and talk about what's going on within the community. They vote as a block. And so when you're a politician, you're saying, look, I've got 100,000 people in Minnesota that if I do something for the community, they're going to vote for me. And that's what it's all about, is getting the votes. And then the people here in Minnesota, you hear this term, Minnesota nice. I'm so sick of that term. The people here are so afraid of being called a racist or an Islamophobe. And they're afraid of their own shadow, and I don't understand. This is our future generations are going to have to pay for all this fraud, and they just want to bury their heads in the sand and go on and just not worry about it. Tim Wall's saying there's organized crime in Minnesota. What did he do about it? No, you got organized crime? What are you doing? This is the Minnesota law which mandates that anyone who knows of fraud and is a state employee must report that fraud. It's Minnesota Statute 3.971 Division 9. Not only that, Walls is also guilty of misconduct of a public employee. When I look at the world as well,
Well, if Walls publicly says there's a lot of fraud, does that not... I'm sure there's an official reporting mechanism, but I mean, like, he's the governor. What is it? I mean, like, is he supposed to go out as Batman and do something about it? Did he not direct the state attorney general to look into it? Or, I don't know, not the state judge.
and I look at fraud, the Twin Cities is ground zero. The fraud is worse here than anywhere else ever in history.
In history?
We're gonna go confront these people. We're gonna go to these daycare centers. We're gonna see what's actually happening.
Let's
So
go!
we have to be careful because these
Uh-oh.
people are very
Dangerous,
violent. They're
violent,
exceptionally violent.
exceptionally.
Now, with all of David's evidence,
Woo!
we headed out to the streets of Minneapolis to see how much fraud we could uncover in one afternoon. Where are we going now?
We're going to a place called Mako Child Care, which actually has another child care registered at the same address called Mini Child Care Center.
Okay.
So we should see lots of children if there's this child care center, especially if there's two.
The two of them combined are licensed for 120.
Okay, that's crazy, but it looks like there's a person here, so hold on, let me focus for a sec.
And how much money have these child care centers received?
None of those vans have moved in 6 months. None of them. In 2020, one of them received 1.3 million. In 2021, they got 987,000. In 2022, they got 714,000. That's the last I have for that one. And then the other one, 1.604 million in fiscal year 2025. Fiscal year 2024, they got about 800.
Okay. I'm trying to think if it's like people are dumb or if they're bad faith or what. But like, okay, so a lot of what I say right now also apply to like 2,000 meals, okay? To where, let's say that you're driving by a daycare center all the time, and let's say that there's like nobody there, right? That is kind of weird. But the problem is people will just say like, that's really weird, and then they act like they've uncovered something huge. And it's like, why not like do a like more formal or more scientific approach, right? So again, I don't know how this video is going to go, but like if they literally just go and camp out for one afternoon, why not like set up, you know, somebody to go and check at like, at like 3 different times during the day for over the next like month, right? To see if you ever see kids there or something, you know? Like that would be an easy thing to do, and then you like get a good, and then that would be hard to explain. It's a full month, there's nobody there, or go online and find an ad for the place. I want to, you know, like put my kid in this daycare or something. Like that, like this would be a good way to further your, like your starting point, your hypothesis, you know? Like I think it's really weird. I read a meme post on Reddit about how there are like mattress stores everywhere. And I was like, are people really buying that many mattresses? And after I read that post on Reddit, I started looking around. I was in Glendale. I was like, wait a second. I live next to like 3 different mattress stores. How the fuck do these people stay in business? That's a weird thing. But like that would be the starting point for some type of journalistic investigation. That wouldn't be like the ending point, you know? But maybe they'll do it in this. We'll see.
1,000, and in fiscal year 2023, they got $904,059. This place right here. Yes.
We're outside of it.
Well, this is actually 2 daycares are registered here. One of them is Mako, which you see on this sign. The other one is Mini Child Care Center. And between the 2 of these child care centers, they're pulling in about $3 million a year. And there are no children. Every facility that you go to, the windows will be blocked out so you can't see in. There's nobody here. You won't see a single child at any of these facilities.
There are indeed no windows. All the windows are blacked out right here. All right, let's go in.
No.
And the child care center is locked. Should we ring the doorbell?
Yeah.
Try to get in, ring the doorbell. No, the child here. All right, let's go in.
Here you won't see. You go
All right,
to
let me
the
watch
windows
this.
will be blocked out.
Like this place just looks like it's closed down. Is this like I wonder if these are even still functional. Now they had the thing at the bottom left saying they were getting government funds still. Do we know, are these for sure the same business? This isn't like an old address they used and then they moved to a different address or something, right?
So you can't see in. There's nobody here. You won't see a single child at any of these facilities.
There are indeed no windows. All the windows are blacked out right here. All right, let's go in.
No.
And the child care center is locked. Should we ring the doorbell? Try to get in, rang the doorbell. Nobody showed up. They're open 7 days a week, 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. it says here on their sign, yet there's absolutely nobody here. And this building here, right here, has generated millions of dollars, and it seems like business isn't even open right now, and it's a weekday. And if this was a daycare center, it wouldn't just be in some industrialized building. There would be maybe like a playground or something outside, or...
There's no play area for the kids. So...
Well, could the play area not be inside? Like, do we know? Like...
Where are the kids? Where's anybody? How can there be nobody here? And it's like this every single day. I've never seen a single child here.
Also, people are saying that people have that the things are closed so that like pedos don't look in or whatever. I guess that could be. In my mind, it wouldn't surprise me. Kids that are under the age of like 6 or 7 or 18, if you just don't want to fucking deal with them, have nap time, or especially in the afternoon. And I could imagine just having the windows all whatever, because if they need a nap, you don't want sunlight coming in. You want to be able to darken the place. Maybe people use blinds or whatever, but that would be my first thought for why they want it blacked out, is for nap time. But maybe not. Who knows? Or maybe it could also just be like a general security thing. You don't want people to be able to look inside. And wait, what is this real quick? Hold on.
Within the government, here in Minnesota, massive fraud is taking place within the government and the Somali population. Here, this building alone, Quality Learning Center, is a daycare, yet they spelled learning wrong, and they said leering. This daycare alone in 2025 has received $1.9 million from the government. And the strange things about these childcare centers is there's no one here right now. It's midday on a weekday. If you were to try to go inside, it's completely closed and the windows are all blacked out. No one's working. Midday. Children should be in here, and this place is licensed for 99 children.
We about to fact check this first. If you mess with me, make sure you hit that follow button. Let's get it. What the hell is he talking about? First, the reason why you don't see any kids there on a midday is because they're permanently closed. Which makes me wonder, why didn't you show nobody what it said on that door? And I tried to read it, but you literally blurred it out.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, I feel like, especially when you have any small business, that's what I was kind of looking for back here. Usually there'll be a sign saying like, hey, like call us here, or like, this looks, well, I guess there's a big one up here, although these are usually the last things to come down. Although this doesn't look like an intricate sign, I don't know why. I wonder what is posted to the door right here. But I mean, the place looks kind of barren, but also maybe some places are fucked. I don't know. I can't draw strong conclusions about it, but.
Now, the reason why they're closed isn't because of fraud, it's because they're a bad daycare center. I mean, if you was an actual journalist, you would have been able to find all the investigations they had since 2022. Their last investigation was in July. See that all the violations are related to child safety, which is why the facility has been in probation multiple times, which makes me believe that that paper up there is a sanctioning paper. I know this because that's one of their violations that they didn't post it up, and if you see the citation, it's about sanctioning and removing licenses, which means that this facility is probably on a conditional license again, and also why they only have 1 star. I would also like to add that it was the Trump administration DHS that actually audited the facility this year. There is no reports that any fraudulent activities were happening. In other words, this man is lying to push a false narrative on Somalis.
So this is a thing where I try to tell you that if you're looking, like how a person responds can be indicative of the things that they believe, but it can be indicative of the type of information that exists, because if other information were to exist, you know that they would respond in a different way. So for instance, assuming this guy's research is correct, and this has 0 comments, I don't know when this was posted, 8 minutes ago, whatever. Now maybe this guy's getting the wrong address or something, but I would imagine that this guy seems, now I don't know this guy's background, I am making assumptions here just based on the video so far. But it seems like he's pretty ideologically pushed to one side, so he wants this story, he wants Somalians to be the bad guys here. I feel like he would look up these daycare centers to see if any of them are closed. I know this isn't the same address that he was looking at this one, but maybe in another part of the video will come up. So it seems like he would look this stuff up. I feel like he would look this stuff up, and if he did look this stuff up, if there was something saying like this place was closed because Somalians were eating or abusing children, that he would be reporting on that. But he didn't find that, so he just didn't report on it at all, you know? So I feel like he must have tried to look this up. He found an answer he didn't want, and he didn't put it in. But would he really expect that nobody would fact check him? I don't know. Why would they have a sign on the building in the first place? Assuming they're trying to scam the government, wouldn't the scammers want to make the building as bland as possible, not to draw attention? Well, the idea would be you'd have the outside look kind of formalistic so that it would fool the neighborhood or whatever, but...
Millions of dollars, and Seems like business isn't even open right.
I mean, 25, 30. Fuck me, dude. I just want to play video games. Fuck all this. I don't care about anything. This fucking camp-ass country. 25, 38, 25th Ave South. Did he say he's in Minnesota right now? Or Minneapolis? Mini Child Care Center. Who's responsible for investigating like daycares and stuff? Investigation. Oh, DHS license lookup. Uh-oh, see violations. Pause. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Okay, so these people did have a lot of violations. And this is this address. 2538 25th Avenue South. 2538 25th Avenue South.
Let the hunt begin.
Children's files do not contain immunization documentation. Wouldn't conservatives love that? The relocation site and evacuation route from the emergency preparedness plan was not posted. Program not comply with monthly crib safety inspections. You're going to check out my crib.
Let the hunt begin. Justice shall be
Areas used by children were not in good repair. Equipment and furniture were not in good repair. Program space not clean. Products to control diaper rash were not properly labeled.
Understood.
Oof. If you've ever had to change a child's diaper or whatever, children that have like really bad diaper rash, I feel like this is always one of your big like neglect indicators. Not to come down too hard on parents that just like the Lego children sitting there on film. Because fuck kids, you know? Not in the Epstein way. Better furniture not good repair. Damn, these people. They must have pissed this guy off. Whoever came out to audit them.
Let the hunt begin. Understood.
Okay, so these guys had a lot of violations, which means somebody. See, so like, this would be a good thing, okay? So now, this is just like 1 second of research, right? This would be a good thing to just contact the, what does DHS stand for here? Department of Human Services. We have multiple DHSs and Department of Homeland Security. So this would be a good thing to contact DHS and say, hey, who did the auditing of this? Or did you guys do the auditing of this? Was a person on site? Did you see children out there? This is the total capacity is 80. I wonder if these people are still taking new children. What's the Minnesota Department of Human Services? Okay. But, okay. It's very, very sussy baka that he doesn't bring up looking any of that up. But we'll see. Maybe he will.
Right now, and it's a weekday. And if this was a daycare center, it wouldn't just be in some industrialized building. There would be maybe like a playground or something outside, or...
There's no play area for the kids, so...
I don't know why you would have to have a playground outside. Some daycares could just have playgrounds inside. It also super depends on the age range of the kids as well. Like, if they mainly deal with kids, like, under the age of 2, I don't know, you just stick them all in cribs or just have them in a circle fucking playing with toys or whatever. Now, if they're kids who are, like, up to age, I guess, like, middle school, I mean, it'd be kind of weird to have them all locked inside, but they could play video games or watch TV or some shit. I don't know. Oh, no, I guess today you guys are all on your iPads all the time, so.
Where are the kids? Where's anybody? How can there be nobody here? And it's like this every single day. I've never seen a single child here. In 9 years, I've never seen a single child.
There's a good Sacha Baron Cohen-skit you can make. Guy sitting in his van like, where are the kids? Where are the kids?
This building, right there.
Oh, then now it looks like we already got the Somalis coming through.
Yeah, they're coming. The word's out.
Hello, is this your daycare?
Can you tell us why there are no children? Have you ever seen children at this child care center?
When your mom ran a daycare, did she have a playground outside the house? Yeah, we did in the backyard. Playground. It was just like a swing set and some jungle gym shit. I'm trying to think if the kids mainly played inside though, but I think we generally had kids. The majority were like between the ages of 0 and 4, and then with a few like 5 to 6, 7-year-olds, with like maybe 8 being the oldest. Dude, have you ever visited places that you only saw as a child? When I went back to oh my god, shut the fuck up. When I went back to look at my house's backyard, the one that I grew up in, that backyard was so much smaller than I remember it. I remember I went back to my grandma's apartments and I looked at that backyard area, and I thought it was like the size of like if you would have asked me, I would have legitimately said like maybe like half of a baseball field. I mean, like almost like maybe like a football field, and it's like who's maybe like 30 feet from like here to here, and I would have guessed it was like 50 yards. Holy shit. Being small is crazy.
Looks like we already got the Somalis coming through.
Yeah, they're coming. The word's out.
Hello, is this your daycare?
No. Can you tell us why there are no children? Have you ever seen children at this child care center?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Doesn't know if she's ever seen a child here. All right, let's go to the next location.
Like, that's pretty bad faith. Not sure. She probably just doesn't want to talk to you, which is fair. I wouldn't, especially given everything that's happening in this country right now, I wouldn't talk to random white people that show up with a fucking camera and everything else. Like, it's going to feel like an ambush every time, which is probably kind of the goal, because you don't actually want to have a legit conversation. Because I'm sure you could, like, email these people or phone call them and ask. Also, that looks stronger, too. I cannot fucking believe I had to explain this to those Twitter files journalists. When I was talking to them, I was like, oh, you have all these theories about, like, why the FBI did this or that. Did you ever maybe reach out to them and ask why they did or didn't, you know, say this? And they were all like, no. And I was like, why not? You know, well, we don't think they'd answer anyway. I was like, but wouldn't it look good then to say that you reached out to the FBI and they refused to comment? And one of the guys was like, you know what, you're right, maybe that would have looked good. Like, what the fuck?
And the fraud only gets more from here. Make sure you stay till the very end of this video to see exactly how much fraud we find by the time we are done. And before we go to the next location, I want to show you something super interesting about the flags of Minnesota. And here in Minnesota, if you take a look at the Minnesota state flag, they recently changed it, and it very much so resembles the flag of Somalia.
Minnesota state flags history. Wait! The Somalians were back all the way in 1893? Wait, he didn't even get the right one, though. Or when is this? Oh, this is 2023. What's the narrative that the Somalians are controlling the state? I don't know why, but for some reason, a lot of Somalians, like, congregated in Minnesota. I don't know if it was, they just, like, a community sprung up there, or... How many Somalians are in Minnesota? It's been like that for a while, though, because I feel like I remember that stereotype even back when I was in high school, like 20 years ago. It's only... Oh, man. Oh, fuck. I should have guessed first. Because if you would have asked me to guess, I would have guessed that the Somalian population was in the millions. Just based off of how much I've heard and everything. Is 80 to 100,000. Twin Cities population. Metropolitan area. What's the abbreviation for this? The whole metro area is 3 to 3.7 million. Number of residents in Somalia is 80 to 100,000, with the majority concentrated in the Twin Cities area. Okay, well, there's a lot of missionary work for refugees and the Catholic Church. You're being bad faith. The old guy he is with has emailed and called them a lot. Finish the video. I'm going to finish the video, but the guy hasn't mentioned that at all, and I'm not seeing evidence of that yet, and he's presenting some of the strongest claims first, so fuck you. That's his fault. Minneapolis is less than 400K. You always have to look at the metropolitan area. Cities don't mean, I don't know if you're from Europe or if you're from a different place in the US, but cities, like city population in America or cities in America don't really mean much, because it's really like a whole metro area, because like the city bleeds into the overlaying metropolitan areas, and everybody considers that to be part of the city, and it's just how it works in the United States generally. I live in Minnesota, and the Somali flag shit is the dumbest thing ever. The person who submitted the flag design was some rural white guy. One of the biggest owns that Pierce could have pulled out against Nick, but I guess I didn't get this in their research, was Nick complained about crime and black people committing violent crime and all this so much. And maybe, like, none of this is really about being factually correct, just about getting owns. But I feel like a big rhetorical own that Pierce could have had on Nick was, Nick, who was the person who showed up at your house and was threatening to kill you or whatever? Who was that person? Were they black? Because that was a white guy, wasn't it? Am I wrong on that? I think it was a white dude, wasn't it? It must have been, because if it was a black guy, I feel like they would have endlessly talked about that.
1 week free and 3 months at 50% off. And now let's get back into the video. Now we're going to the next daycare center. How much money has this one generated?
This one, in fiscal year 2025, $1,042,059. In fiscal year 20...
It was some white lady? No. I'm not talking about the people who were outside, like, shouting at Nick. Didn't a person show up at Nick's door with, like, a gun? Wait, I think you guys are mixing up It was a weird story. A guy who committed like a triple homicide and then he went to Fuentes' house afterwards. You're right, I'm an asshole. I'm just getting mad because this fuck Tyler is piece of shit, but I'm really worried about Asmongold fans clipping you out of context. I need to protect you. Fuck it. Tell Asmongold to talk to me. There's nothing I'm going to do to protect being clipped out of context, okay?
24, $1,052,059. In fiscal year 2024, $1,059,078. And in fiscal year 2023, $727,336.
This next one is literally one block away, and this one's also generated nearly $3 million.
Damn. Hold on. Okay, never mind. I would be triggered about the Minnesota flag shit. Because apparently there was another flag design that was suggested that didn't make it. And this looks fucking awesome. I want the laser eye fucking duck man. It's not a duck man, it's just a duck. It's a goose. I don't know if a duck and a goose are different things. Damn.
$27,336.
This next one is
That's a loon?
one block away.
Fuck
and
is
this
a loon?
one's also generated
Shut the fuck up.
nearly $3 million in the past 3 years. See if there's any children. See if any of the buildings.
Let's
are
look for
open.
the kids. Them
Here we
kids.
go.
We gotta find the kids.
ABC Learning Center. All the windows are blacked out.
Uh-oh.
Let's see if anybody is here. This door is locked.
This facility is licensed for 40 children. 0 children. I've come by this place 100 times. I've never.
ABC Learning Center, 2533 24th Ave, license lookup. DHS, license lookup. Jesus. I wonder how often people get violations. Or I wonder if like the auditors are like insanely, are insanely nitpicky. Sorry. How corrected? Some of the corrections here didn't seem to even happen sufficiently. Correction documentation, insufficient. Did they just give up? I wonder if are any of these places shut down? Will it tell you? Services, day program, ages served, infants, toddlers, preschool, and school age.
This door is locked.
This facility is licensed for 40 children. 0 children. I've come by this place 100 times. I've never seen a child here, ever.
100 times?
The only thing I've ever seen is someone standing outside smoking.
What's crazy about this is that last daycare center is that green building right there. And the other daycare center right now is right here. These buildings should be operating as they're receiving literally millions of dollars. I knocked on the door, and to my surprise, somebody actually answered the door. Hello?
Keep in mind this is literally in the middle of the holidays. Is it though? My guess is this would have been filmed in early December, right? There's no way he's doing a turnaround on this video in like 2 days. So if this video was launched December 26th, did he say a date for when he was going out doing this? I feel like it would have been early December, or maybe even late November, whatever last month was.
Can we speak? I would like to check a child in the daycare. Can I speak to a manager? Where can I get paperwork to file for my son? I wanted to put my son Joey in daycare. And after a few questions, the lady went silent. Looks like little Joey Shirley ain't going to daycare here. And now where are we going?
Now we're going to Sweet Angel Child Care.
We're in the middle of a strip mall here inside of this neighborhood.
In fiscal year 2025, this facility, which has its license for 74 kids, was paid $1.26 million in tax money. And there are no kids, and all the facilities are the same way, all of them.
Let's see if...
Damn, correction documentation not yet submitted. So it wasn't even sufficient. They just didn't even try. Children didn't have access to personal hygiene products. Children's hands were not washed with soap and water. Hazardous objects were accessible to children. Children did not have daily access to all interest areas. The program did not comply with first aid training requirements, and the program did not comply with CPR training requirements. Damn, this is a death site for your children. What I'm trying to think. Where is he getting the information for like funds that were dispersed? Does anybody know what he's looking up for that?
If anyone opens. Once again, I try to find a spot for my son Joey. They would not open the door. I want to put my son Joey in daycare. Cause I need a spot to put my son Joey. Yes. Is this your daycare center?
Like, is this place even open right now? What is this? Oh, this is probably a lockbox that probably has the key to this here, maybe is my guess. But like the signage is all like, why is this all like white? I don't know, maybe stuff on the other. I don't know, I have no idea.
Yeah, what's up? Well, I just want to put a child in daycare, but all the daycare centers seem to be closed. No one's opening the doors.
You work here?
I was, yeah. What's happening?
Where are the kids?
Yeah?
It says it's licensed for 74 children. Right here, state of Minnesota. Where are the kids? They got paid $1.26 million in fiscal year 2025. It says they have a capacity for 74 children.
When? When?
Where are the kids? Right here. State of Minnesota website.
Licensed, just to be clear, licensed for a certain number of kids doesn't mean that you have that many kids at your place. That's just the maximum number you were allowed to hold at any point in time. I think my mom was licensed, I think, for 14 at the most at the height of her daycare stuff.
You work here and you don't know?
I don't know. I was there before. I don't know what's going on.
Were there any kids when you worked here?
He's there. He's there. What's
How
up?
many?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Yeah.
You worked here. Okay, well then you're not of any help.
Can I put my son in a daycare here?
No, I don't know.
Can I speak to someone?
Bite the bullet, dog. This was really incompetent government spending. There were food banks begging for donations while fake NGOs were getting millions. That's a bait message, right?
One?
No, I don't know.
No. Yeah, I would like to see if I can put my son Joey here.
Who's your son, Joey?
My son Joey. Can I check out daycare center?
No! You don't I'm the owner.
Do you put your kid here in this daycare? There is one child in there. Yeah, I'd like to know if this is a legit business.
Me, I'm scared of you too. After I explain everything.
You're scared of me?
Why would they get the subsidies in 2025 after the violations in 2024 and not submitting evidence of corrections? Well, it looks like they did submit evidence of corrections for 2024. This visit right here was literally like 3 weeks ago. For 2024, it seems like they did correction, documentation, submitted and approved, blah, blah, blah. So they were, I think that did happen here. And then in 2025, this is their last review. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. So maybe this isn't even that bad. I don't know. Because if this was literally 3 weeks ago, I don't know how long they would have to submit evidence of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Because of your curry.
Because of my color. You said you're scared of me because of my color. Does that make you a racist?
Yeah, no.
But
no,
you said you're scared of me because of my color.
I'm not saying you're racist.
You said you're scared of me because of my
Like this guy, this is just like a rage baiter interview as well, right?
color. That makes you a racist. So right now, they're all getting mad because he's showing the paperwork of this business being registered as a business. 74 children, no children. We saw one child when the lady opened up the door. So now they're all getting mad.
Insufficient gold. Insufficient gold.
Wait, is that a real thing Somalis do? Did anybody hear the force in me? Wait, was that a real thing? Did anybody hear it? Wow, 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 wow! When the people would always, the Ugandan stream snipers on Forsen stream.
And we saw one child when the lady opened up the door. So now they're all getting mad.
What was this money spent on? 1.26 million. What was that money spent on? There aren't any kids.
Ask the owner and the kids.
Well, then why are you talking for the owner if you're telling me to talk to the owner?
I'm sorry. I'm not understand what you're talking about.
Do you have a child here?
No.
Does anybody?
Queen.
Where are the 74 kids? Did you lose them?
Ain't my kids.
Did you lose these kids? Do I need to call someone? Do I need to issue an Amber Alert for missing children? Are these children missing? It's not my business that children are missing. 74 infants and toddlers, preschool.
The proof's right there. There's no children anywhere.
It's from the state of Minnesota right here.
I think we're moving on to the next location.
Oh, okay.
Have a good day. As we continue to show the blatant
really got to the
fraud
bottom of that there.
Place here in
The
Minnesota,
blatant fraud.
Somalis started following us around the city. And now we're being followed by the Somalis. This is another daycare center, absolutely no signage, and there's no footprints in the snow of children playing outside. $5 million within the past 2
in 2 years. 5.9 million they received in 2 years. That
Ching.
facility right there.
And now we have a group of Somalis telling us in our vehicle right now. From this,
Even if these facilities are all shut down, surely it still infers some sort of corruption if all these places are being shut down in spite of the money being received. Well, I mean, like if they're shutting down and getting money after being shut down, that's not good. Obviously, something is obviously fucked there. However, one kind of like unfortunate just kind of reality of getting government funds is that if there's a place that is desperate enough that they need a bunch of government assistance to survive, not to be mean to poor people or anything, but like they probably kind of suck too, right? They're gonna have these issues, you know. That's just an unfortunate reality of, you know, socioeconomic status associated things or causally related things, I guess, if you want to say.
Daycare center, we headed over to the infamous Quality Learning Center, which actually spells quality.
I think this is one of the conundrums you ran into with like the No Child Left Behind stuff, where it's like, oh, well, we're going to set metrics for if schools are doing really well, we're going to reward them with more money, and if they kind of suck, then we're going to take away their funds. And it's like, yeah, sure, but the ones that suck are kind of the ones that need, you know, the assistance the most. Why are there cockroaches all over my gun bench? How could you work with these motherfuckers crawling around? It's gross.
We have a group of Somalis telling us in our vehicle right now. From this daycare center, we headed over to the infamous Quality Learning Center, which actually spells Quality Leering Center on the outside of their sign. That
AI. DHS randomly visited these daycares. Surely there were kids there when the visits happened. That's why I'm saying it would have been good for them to contact, you know, the Minnesota DHS and find out, hey, what the fuck happened? Yeah.
That's how blatant this fraud is here at this daycare.
Don't open up!
So this is Quality Leering Center. I meant to say Quality Learning Center.
Don't open
They
up!
said they spelt learning wrong.
Don't open up!
How do you have ice here, ma'am? I'm literally a YouTuber.
Don't open up!
Ma'am, what do you think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
Don't open up! We have ice!
And what do you think about this place being licensed for 99 children
Don't open up!
and getting $4 million over the
Open up! It's ice!
4 million?
Wait, so real quick, so is there any public source for where he's getting this money from? Like the dollar amounts he's getting here?
$1 million in the last 2 years.
Go away!
What do you think about that? Are you in favor?
Away!
Are you in favor of that?
Go away!
You know
You're
what
not welcome here!
Are you-
Shame on you!
Are you in favor of $1.9 million going illegally,
Open up!
fraudulently to this business that has Quality Learning Center but can't even spell learning right on the door?
Destiny, these guys are MAGA retards and rage baiters, but doesn't it seem like something strange is going on here? Or am I just easily manipulated? LOL by Veritas tier shit. Not a bait question. Well, I mean, you're easily manipulated. We all are easily manipulated. You can look at stuff that looks weird. Sometimes there's stuff that's like really fucking weird, but then you'll get an explanation like, oh shit, this makes sense, you know? But that's my biggest issue with a lot of these bullshit like Project Veritas exposés, or I said like 2,000 Mules, is that like, this is like really good, these are really good questions to like build an investigation on, right? Like I said, like if I was driving around and there was some daycare center and it was like empty all day, I think I would be like, what's going on over here? Should we kind of, I wonder if there's some scammy shit going on, you know? Which is a totally fair question. But then you would like do some real investigative work and you'd reach out and you try to contact people to figure out, well, what the fuck is going on? But absent any of the investigation stuff, it's sussy baka. It makes me wonder what the actual motivation is here. Like if you really gave a fuck, why wouldn't you reach out to the state and figure out? You had auditors come out to this location. What? But we're not even halfway through this video, so maybe he'll do that. We'll see.
In favor of $1.9 million going illegally, fraudulently to this business that has Quality Learning Center but can't even spell learning right on the door.
Don't open up!
Ma'am, we are not ICE.
I don't care who you are, you don't belong here.
I belong here just like you belong here.
Don't open up! It's ice!
Also, I like how he said they were being followed by Somalis earlier, but the one outside screaming is a fucking white woman, old white woman.
You do realize that there's supposed to be 99 children in here.
That's not how that works. It's also very sus when somebody has no concept of like what they're talking about, but they're doing like investigative journalism on it. That should be one of the biggest red flags, because the first thing, anytime you enter a new area of stuff to investigate, the first thing you're probably going to be doing when you're researching or talking to people is picking up a whole bunch of new information that you've just never known before. So like your license capacity is not going to be the amount of children that will be present at all points in time. It's going to be the highest amount that you can have slotted at your center. Or this is how it worked for my mom. I assume it's for most places. Or it might even not even be at one point in time. It might be just period how many people you can have over like a month or whatever. But that doesn't mean there are going to be that many children there at all points in time. It's just the maximum capacity that your particular place is rated for.
This building, but there's no one here. This is a child daycare center.
99 children. Paid $1.9 million this year in CCAP funding. Do you know where the children are? Were they kidnapped? They run away? Where are the children?
Based.
This is state of Minnesota. Right here.
And who are you?
My name's Nick Shirley, ma'am.
And who are you with?
Nick Shirley. Nick Shirley on YouTube.
Yeah, so who are you with here?
Oh, he's just been doing some research investigating the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm with Nick Shirley.
This lady, she's calling us ICE. We're just trying to put law and order back in the streets of the United States. Get rid of all the fraud. Have you ever seen children at that daycare center right there?
Where?
Yeah, it's right there. It says the child. You've never seen daycare.
Never.
Anybody in there?
We're gonna educate you on something. So what do you think about this daycare center? They spelt learning wrong. They've received over $1.9 million this year alone, and they're supposed to have 99 children here.
I don't see it.
Have you ever seen
keep
any
saying
children here?
None at all. None.
This year they got 1.9 million. Last year they got 1.5 million of your tax money for 99 children. We just want to know, where are the kids?
Right.
Where are the children?
I don't see them. I've been here since 2017. I haven't seen anybody like
Never
that here.
seen a child here.
No, not at all.
And so you've
Many
never
years.
seen a child here for 8 years?
Nope, not at all.
And how does that
Wow.
make you feel knowing that this place is receiving
Disgusting.
$1.9 million?
Disgusting. I mean, what the hell? They
What
steal
the
the
hell?
money. That's a federal grant too. That's, if they get caught for that's a federal offense. I know. I studied law.
And do you think Tim Waltz should go to jail for all the fraud that?
Oh wait, what did he say? I studied law. Did he say that?
I mean, what the hell? They steal the money. That's a federal grant too. That's, if they get caught for that's a federal offense. I know. I studied law.
And do you
Christianity
think Tim
get-
Waltz should go to jail for all the fraud that he's enabled here in his state?
That's him doing this? Well, heck yeah. He's got to be held accountable for this. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason what's going on here. It's simple. It's nothing there. It's a parking lot.
And look, they even spelled learning wrong on their sign for a
Wow.
place that's supposed to be educating children.
That's crazy. I mean, who runs it? Who
My name's
supposedly runs
Samanez,
it?
and welcome to another
Somalians.
Samanez Guide
You said
video.
that too
Today,
long,
we'll
too
talk
a
about
long time ago in a
pre-grade gearing
debate.
for
I
an
said I
assassination
studied
rogue in
law.
Wrath of the Lich King.
I feel like
There are two
studied
important stat
implies you
caps
went to
to worry
school
about
for
in
it.
Wrath of the Lich
And
King.
I studied
The
law.
first
Sounds
is
like
a
you have a
poison hit
JD.
cap of
I'm curious what the
17%
context of me
to
saying
ensure
that
your
would
poisons
be in,
are
but
never resisted
okay.
by boss units. With the precision talent 5 out of 5, that's 315 hit rating that you'll need on your character. If you have precision talent and you have a spell hit debuff like improved fairy fire from a druid or misery from a shadow priest, that's 237 hit rating that you'll need. The second important cap is the expertise cap of 6.5%. Mutilate rogues don't get any special bonuses to expertise from talents or racials, so it's going to be a pretty constant 214 expertise rating to hit that expertise cap. We're going to analyze each of these items with a high score and a low score. The high score is when you fully utilize all the hit and expertise on the item. This is the most valuable it can possibly be for you. The low score is when you are already at your poison hit cap and already capped on expertise. This is the least valuable the item can be for you. Here we have some example helmets like Mask of the Watcher with a massive 62 expertise on it. When you can fully utilize that expertise, it's a really good helmet. In fact, it's the best. But if you're getting your expertise elsewhere on your gear and the expertise on Mask of the Watcher is wasted, it becomes a really poor choice because that expertise is worth nothing when you're over the cap. Like I said, Mask of the Watcher is a very strong choice if you need expertise on your helmet slot. If you don't, it's a very poor choice. If you're not using expertise with Mask of the Watcher, your next best option is the Weakness Spectralizers, which is a bind down pickup crafted item from Engineers. And even if you need hit chance, if you're below your poison hit chance, the weakness spectralizers are still better than your best hit option with duplicitous guys. They just have so much more stats than the duplicitous guys that they're worth using. For the necklace, we've got Pendant of the Outcast Hero as the clear winner from 25 Emblems of Heroism. We have a runner-up with Titanium Impact of the Careless Thief with 33 hit on them, and the Trollwoven Spalders with 28 expertise on them, which are crafted by leatherworkers. You'll choose between these two depending on if you need hit or expertise to round out your gear set. For the cloaks, we have Embrace of Sorrow as a very good hit option. If you need the hit, this is your best cloak. But if you don't need the hit, you're going to be looking at either Cloak of Unforgivable Sin or Ice Striker's Cloak as better options. For the chest pieces, we have Hero's Bone Scythe Breastplate as the clear winner. This takes 80 Emblem of Heroism. It's technically accessible pre-raid, but it might not be realistic to get that many emblems. And your next up is going to be the Custodian's chest piece. This is one with a lot of offensive stats, but you might notice no stamina on this. So big DPS item, but not a very big survival item, that's for sure. For the bracers, we've got Dragon Friend bracers from Wormrest Accord Exalted. These are really good with 49 agility, 38 crit, and 100 attack power. Pretty strong bracers. But if you're not going to get Exalted with that faction, the runner-up option, the Drake Champions bracers, are pretty good as well. If you're fully utilizing the 29 hit on those bracers, they're almost identical in power level to the Dragon Friend bracers. And these are a BOE trash drop from the Oculus, so you can either get lucky finding them in the dungeon, or you can buy them on the auction house. For the gloves, we have the Hero's Bone Scythe Gauntlets available for 60 Emblem of Heroism, and the Gilt-Edged Leather Gauntlets from Utgard Pinnacle Heroic dropping from King Ymiron. You may not reasonably be able to get these 60 Emblems of Heroism for the Bone Scythe Gauntlets before you enter a raid, so the Gilt-Edged Leather Gauntlets are a good pick there. For the belts, we have Jorok's Crocodile Skin Belt. It has 38 expertise on it, and you get it for 40 Emblem of Heroism. This is a very strong belt option. For the leggings, we have another clear winner with the Gourd Hide leg guards that drop from Galdara in Gundrak Heroic. These have 52 hit on them, a lot of agility, and a huge amount of attack power. For the boots, another easy choice with the Boots of the Never-Ending Path. 66 hit on those, and they come from the Argent Crusade reputation at Exalted. These are really strong, and getting Exalted with Argent Crusade is going to be the first reputation I work on because of this very strong reputation reward. For the rings, we have a lot of options, and you'll have to choose 2 of them, of course. The Hemorrhaging Circle is a very good one with 33 expertise on it. If you're utilizing that expertise, it's a really good option, and if you're not utilizing that expertise, it's a really bad option, which is how most expertise items work. If you're not going for that, the Band of the Kirin Tor is a strong option that doesn't have hit or expertise on it, so it's pretty consistently good. This comes from a vendor for 8,500 gold base price, but if you get high faction with the Kirin Tor, you can reduce the vendor price of it with a faction discount. Another option is the Signet of the Edward the Odd, which is a BOE world drop. Agility, attack power, haste, and a neat little haste proc on it, which is pretty good. For the ranged options, we've got Spine Slicer, Nessingwary 4000, and the Drake Mounted Crossbow. A lot of setups are going to like the Nessingwary 4000 because this one has a socket in it, which gives you a little bit of flexibility to pick up hit, expertise, or more attack power on it. But the Spine Slicer has the most hit, so if you really need hit in your gear setup, Spine Slicer is going to be your choice in the ranged slot. For trinkets, we've got Mirror of Truth and Dark Moon Card Greatness as unquestionably the best trinkets you can get. The Mirror of Truth comes from 40 Emblems of Heroism, and the Dark Moon Card Greatness is crafted by the Inscription profession and comes from the Nobles deck. For the Mirror of Truth, you may be able to get an alternative, the Corrin's Chromium Coaster, which is identical in stats to the Mirror of Truth, and it comes from the Brewfest holiday event. If the holiday event is coming out right around when Wrath of Lich King is coming out, this could be a good option, but it might not line up and this might not be available. Sphere of Red Dragon's Blood is another option for trinkets, and it's okay if you're fully utilizing the hit chance on it, and if you're not, it's pretty poor compared to Mirror of Truth and Dark Moon Card Greatness. For daggers, there's a lot of options, but Librarian's Paper Cutter is definitely going to be one you want. This drops from Halls of Lightning Heroic, and it's a bind on equip trash drop, so you can either get lucky finding it in the dungeon or buy it on the auction house. The Flesh Shaper from Halls of Stone Heroic, dropping from the Iron Shaper boss, is another really good option. Now you can see that pretty much all the good setups use Librarian's Paper Cutter in the main hand, and then it's just basically a choice of the offhand. The Flesh Shaper is the best, Namlak's Supernumerary Sticker is a close second, Broken Stalactite is a very close third. If we have the Brewfest event going on, we might have access to Dire Brew's Bloody Shanker. It's a question mark whether Brewfest event will line up with the release of Wrath, but I figured it's worth mentioning because if you can get this, it quite substantially shakes up the rankings, and you'll definitely want Dire Brew's Bloody Shanker main hand with instant poison combined with Librarian's Paper Cutter offhand with deadly poison. You can see that the difference between that setup and the Paper Cutter Flesh Shaper setup is pretty substantial. Now I know some of you would be up combined with Librarian's Paper Cutter offhand with deadly poison. You can see that the difference between that setup and the Paper Cutter Flesh Shaper setup is pretty substantial. Now I know some of you would be upset if I didn't at least mention using 2 Librarian's Paper Cutter as a pre-raid setup for an assassination rogue. It's true that using double Paper Cutter increases your energy generation from your focused attacks talent, but the other benefits of using the Flesh Shaper far outweigh that energy generation. You have significantly higher damage per mutilate, you have a higher quantity of instant poison procs, and higher damage per instant poison. You have higher main hand auto attack DPS, and you have higher offhand auto attack DPS, and altogether, this simply outweighs the energy generation from the double Paper Cutter setup. Now we've talked about a lot of individual gear slots, but let's look at some complete gear setups now. This is a baseline setup that includes no bind on equip epics, no emblem of heroism items, no tier 7 items, no items from Sunwell, and no engineering items. It should be very accessible to most players. But of course, we can upgrade it if we include some of these things that we've excluded. First, if we spend a bit of gold and we get some of these bind on equip epics, we can upgrade Titanium Impact Choker, Troll Woven Spalders, Ice Striker's Cloak, Band of the Kirin Tor, Dark Moon Card Greatness, some berserking enchants on our weapons, and a Nesingwary 4000 in our range slot. The majority of this DPS gain of 276 comes from the Darkmoon card greatness and the 2 berserking enchants. The other items added with gold are not as significant as those. If we add Emblem of Heroism items, the Pendant of the Outcast Hero, the Jorok's Crocodile Skin Belt, and the Mirror of Truth, we get a pretty big bonus of about 145 DPS, and in this case, most of that is coming from the Mirror of Truth and the Jorok's Crocodile Skin Belt. The Pendant of the Outcast Hero is a more minor item. If we add the Tier 7 Emblem of Heroism items, the Hero's Bone Scythe Breastplate and the Hero's Bone Scythe Gauntlets, we get a pretty
Looking for something specific? Safe travels. My goods are of the highest quality. You need something? Light bless